I hope everyone had a great weekend as well. So, like I said, we have webinars that are happening all this week. We have, I think, 20 different webinars happening. So if you're not registered, you should be registered. There's going to be a lot of great information over these next few days. So a couple housekeeping things before we let Joleena get going here. We're going to have her go through her whole presentation first, just to make sure that we stay on time and everything. So she has some slides that she's going to share with you all. And then what we're going to do is at the very end, we're going to open it up for Q&A. And if this is your first time in this platform coming into a webinar, how we typically do this is over on the right-hand side, you'll see a chat section. And then right to the right of that, you'll see a Q&A section. So if you have questions that you want to ask Joleena at the end, go ahead and write those in the Q&A section. I'm going to be monitoring the questions just during the webinar while she's going. And then at the end, we'll open it up and we'll have some good discussion there. A couple other things that I do want to mention. Yes, Joleena is the director of customer care, but at the same time, we won't be able to answer any chat support questions or technical questions that's happening in your account. Obviously, we have a lot of people in this webinar, so we can't open up people's accounts and do any troubleshooting. So just keep that in mind when you're asking your questions. And then the other thing as well is, if you have any feature requests or anything like that, the best place to put those is with our customer care team. Go ahead and send us a chat in your Dubsado account, or you can email us hello@dubsado.com, and we can definitely take those feature requests and add those into our queue. So just wanted to put that out there before we get started. But other than that, I'm going to let Joleena get started here. And I'll be back later for the Q&A. So Joleena, go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cam. Let me just get my slides up here. Can everyone see them okay? Awesome. I'm Joleena. I've been at Dubsado for 5 years, coming up in the end of the month, actually. I'm the director of customer care, as Cam said. And I'm happy to be here, happy to share some of the things that I've learned while working at Dubsado. The big takeaway for today is that it's important to make your clients feel prioritized through all of your services. There's so many things that are out of control in business, but one thing we can always control is how we treat our clients. The bottom line, the time you spend improving your client experience is going to build great relationships, and it's an investment in your business. Positive client experiences lead to referrals, testimonials, returning customers, and just really build your brand equity. So today we're going to be going over practical steps for how to create the most seamless, enjoyable experience for your clients, and how to professionally handle conflict if that does come up, because it will sometimes. And then after that, we'll open it up for a little Q&A. Okay. So first, let's give you some great tips to create a great client experience. Let clients know what to expect every step of the way. By eliminating uncertainty in your client journey, clients will feel more secure, have more trust, and will have a clear understanding on how the project will progress. Put yourself in the client's shoes. What do you want to know when you start? What do you want to receive reminders or follow-ups for? An example of this, let's take a wedding photographer. A wedding is a huge moment in someone's life already. If you can eliminate any of those stressful things that you like, making sure that they know what you need from them at all times, it'll just help make their process so much better. And it's one less thing that they're going to have to worry about on their big day. Clearly lay out your service details and pricing for prospective clients. You don't want clients to run into unexpected fees at the last minute. Take it from me, I spend a lot of time on Ticketmaster, and when I buy those concert tickets, that fee at the end of the transaction is not something I look forward to. You can make that a simple process with Dubsado's packages and proposals. You can lay out exactly what they're going to get in their packages and put that on a proposal for a client to select. That's what I want. And then they can pay their invoice right there. Once a client's booked, walk them through the next steps and maybe a timeline. With client portals, you can open that up in a task board and lay out a timeline that they can visually see, and it'll just make everything so much easier for them. Make sure that clients have all of their information. Like I said, with client portals, you can add in all of their forms, all of the dates that you need. They can open any invoices. If there are multiple, they're all in the client portal. All of their signed contracts, anything that they need. Upcoming appointments can be accessed through our client portals. Tip 2, remove any points of friction to create a seamless client journey. In this day and age, expectations for convenience are at an all-time high for service-based businesses. Customers are busier than ever, and we don't want to add any stress with back and forths. You can do that by eliminating as much back and forth as you can with appointments, payments, and paperwork. We've all had those instances where you're emailing or texting back and forth. Are you available on Tuesday? No, how's Wednesday? And you're at like 3 to 4 texts now, and you're only further delaying your progress. With our Dubsado scheduler, you can put your availability and have the clients select what date and time is best for them, eliminating the back and forth completely. With auto pay on invoices, you can set up automated reminders that will send automatically, and you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to send those follow-ups. Hey, reminder, the payment was due last week. Dubsado can do that for you. Plan ahead and create confirmation and reminder emails so there's no surprises. Like I said, the payment reminders, scheduler reminders, you can set up multiple reminders. Hey, we have an appointment on Tuesday, and none of that even has to go through you. It can all be automated through Dubsado. If there's times you won't be available or reachable, you can clearly lay that out on your scheduler. I would also recommend communicating that with your clients. Hey, I'm going out of town next week. Just want to make sure that you know I'll be out of town, but you can still email me and I'll get back to you when I'm back. I feel like that's a really big one, especially right now with summer vacations and all that. Number 3, small details and personal touches can go a long way. Go above and beyond for your clients. It doesn't have to be a ton of extra work. Simple acts that show you're paying attention and care about the client experience make a difference. Ask clients questions to get an idea of their personality, preferences, and any important dates or anniversaries. You can weave that into their client experience. With Dubsado, it makes it easy. With lead capture forms, you can collect all that information, map it, and it'll get stored into their client profile that you can reference at any time. You can even make custom ones. We do have some preset ones, but you want to gather their child's first name. You can put that as a custom mapped field, and then you never have to ask them again, and it'll be there for when you want to bring it up. Let's go back to the example of a wedding photographer. Now you finish the project and you're done, right? They've paid, everything's done. You can set up a workflow in Dubsado that'll automatically send a 1-year anniversary email just congratulating them that they've hit this milestone. Not only is that going to make the client feel special that like you're putting that out there for them even after you've concluded this job for them, it's going to keep you at top of mind for any future milestones that they might need a photographer for. Along with that, scheduling periodic check-ins before the project's ended to give the clients an opportunity to voice any concerns. Maybe they're feeling anxious about something, and sometimes, like myself, I don't like to confront people about it, but if you email me and ask me if there's anything that you need, It helps me open up the floor to communicate my needs. If your project has an end date, send a simple thank you, like I said earlier again. So you can automate that with Dubsado workflows. You can send a thank you a week after the wedding has concluded. You can send over another proposal maybe to show what else you have to offer. Maybe they didn't even realize you do that service. Now with that, there's going to be client conflict. Even in a perfect world, there might be bumps in the road, but there's always simple steps you can take to help reach a resolution with your client relationship intact and stronger than ever. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Sometimes even when you do everything right, you can still hit bumps in the road. So let's go over some client conflict resolution tips. Active listening. Sometimes this is the only thing you need to do to resolve a conflict. They just want to know that they're heard. Have empathy, relate to them. Look at the big picture. Sometimes you might have to read between the lines with clients. You should always address the issue at hand. Take the time to see if there's something else going on. They run into unexpected financial issues. Is there a personal problem going on in their life that's causing the conflict? And it might not even have to do with you. Work with the client to find a solution. Hear what they need and see if there's something you can do to get them to what they need. Remember the big picture. Show gratitude. The reality is not everyone is skilled at or comfortable with conflict resolution. Let the client know you appreciate the opportunity and you really want to make this right. Take a break. Sometimes just walking away and thinking about it for a second, give yourself a breather. Reacting in the moment might not always be the best thing, so give yourself a minute to think it over. And then you're going to learn from this experience. Is there a part of the client journey that you could have changed maybe for this particular client to make it better, more welcoming? Use the opportunity to strengthen your business processes and prevent future issues. With that, Cam, if we want to get started on a Q&A.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joleena. That was great. I was actually taking notes myself, so I appreciate that. I didn't see any questions in the Q&A section, but I do have a question for you that I think people will kind of want to know to kind of get an inside scoop. But some of the things that you had mentioned were being transparent with your clientele, with your customers, reducing friction, and then also adding your personal touch. What would you say that you do specifically with our customer care team to kind of incorporate some of those things while we're communicating with our users, the people who are watching?
Absolutely. Reducing friction right off the bat. I always start with, I hear you. I understand your frustrations right now. Let's work together and let's get this resolved. What can I do for you? Then you listen to what they're saying. What do they need? They might not even know what they need. So it's really just navigating what they're saying and then putting that out there. Like, this is what I can do. I know I can do this for them, and then present it to them. Is that going to help you? And if not, maybe they come up with something along the way and you can implement that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know as far as a personal touch, what do you all try to do to help our users out by adding your own personal touch?
Oh, we love using GIFs. If you've chatted into us before, we love those GIFs. Someone on our team named David, he even helped us. We have personal GIFs. If you're tech savvy, make your own GIFs. People love them. They're so great.
Yeah. As far as the gifts go, I know that we usually have people who will put on their Instagram stories and everything. I love getting gifts from Dubsado. So I know that's a big thing that we like to do. Let's see here. We did have a Q&A question that that says, where can we see where to do these things you talked about within Dubsado? So I can kind of feel that one a little bit. But Linda, to answer your question there, so Joleena kind of covered a broad spectrum of a lot of different features that Dubsado offers. So there's basically a lot of the things that she mentioned are in the templates area. So if you're looking at creating canned emails, that's in the templates area to add your personal touch. The workflows, where you can create an automated workflows in the templates area, along with kind of your branded forms as far as contracts, lead capture forms, all of those things sort of reside within the templates area. So without getting into really technical details, that's kind of the main area that Joleena was talking about there. Let's see here. Another question that we had, are you able to go over creating the workflow invoices as you mentioned? So I'll also kind of field that one for you too, Joleena. But as far as the workflow invoices and kind of creating those automated workflows, what I would recommend doing is signing up for our other webinars that we have coming up this week. I know that we have at least 2 or 3 of them that are going over the booking process and workflows. So I would make sure to get registered for those. I'm also doing a webinar later this week on Friday that talks about creating a booking workflow that would be perfect for what you're looking for. So I would recommend there to get registered for those. Let's see here. I'm going to see if we have any other questions here. Let's see. How does creating, I think you can take this one, Joleena. We do have a question in the chat here. How does creating the customer experience relate to project statuses in Dubsado? How would you combine those two things?
That is a great question. Okay, so the project statuses, I feel like, are such an underutilized area of Dubsado. So if you've logged in, you have your leads and your jobs, and under each of those, you can create your own project statuses. One of the things that Cameron loves to encourage is using that as the pipeline, like the timeline of what you're doing with the clients. So once you've received that lead capture form, does your workflow automatically send over a proposal and contract? So you can make a status that says send proposal. Now you know that you're waiting for that proposal, and you can see that right there on your project statuses. I'm still waiting for these clients to fill out their proposal. And then once they filled out that proposal, what's your next status? Are you going to do invoice paid? Now you know that the invoice is paid and you can get started on the project. It's a great way to see your timeline and what you need to do all laid out right there, and what clients are under each status.
Yes, project statuses to me are such a great organizational tool on your projects page, because you can basically just see where everyone is at in your timeline. And that's very important, especially with the client experience, like what Joleena was talking about. If you're losing track of where your clients are at and what they need and what you need to do next and just where they are, then it's going to be really hard to give that 5-star experience that she was talking about. So really, the customer experience and your project statuses, that's just a match made in heaven of knowing where they're at in your overall timeline of your project or the client experience. So definitely use those as milestones to keep track of where everybody's at. We do have a question here. This is kind of an interesting question. I kind of want to take a stab at this one, and Joleena, if you want to answer this one as well. Is there an AI component coming soon to further assist with personalization? I know, at least from my experience, that have I used ChatGPT to write a canned email before? Absolutely, I have. So while Dubsado doesn't have AI built in, I do know that using ChatGPT and things like that can make that experience a little less scary for the personalization. What do you think about that, Joleena?
Completely agree. I love it just to give me, sometimes it pulls up words that like I wasn't even thinking of, and I'm like, that's the perfect word that I needed, and it totally helps for that. But yeah, no current plans, but I do see that is the future of technology right now.
It is. We have a question from Ben. Per your comments, now, or how can you create custom workflow statuses? Or basically, I guess another way of phrasing that is, how can you have the workflow move projects into another status?
Awesome. So yes, the workflow does actually allow you to create an action that will change statuses. So once you've sent the proposal, so that would be a send form action, you can have an action right after that that says change project status, proposal sent. So the workflow can do all that work for you. You now know that the proposal was sent, it's going to change the status. Once your invoice gets paid, you can change the status again.
Yes, perfect. And I also see too, there's an asterisk for project statuses. So that's actually in the projects page under customize over on the right-hand side. You can click that and make your project statuses. Let's see. Let's take a couple more here if we have them. Let's see. Let me look through here. I know there were some that were in the chat. Let me pop back over to Q&A. I think there was one in there. Okay. So Michelle asked, I'm a coach and I'm wondering, what are your customer experience tips for creating a welcome magazine or a welcome packet for clients? What would you say to that, Joleena?
Awesome. So in Dubsado, you're going to use a proposal for that. Our proposals are fully customizable. On your proposal, think of it as a menu. This is a menu of all of the services that I have to offer. You're going to put packages in there. All of your packages can be selectable. You can add quantity boxes, and the client can select what packages or package they want. And those packages will automatically be added to an invoice right then and there once they submit it. So with a welcome magazine, I would definitely consider using a proposal. You can even make it public and embed it directly onto your website.
Yeah, 100%, especially if it's the first time that they're meeting you or if they're trying to find out pricing. That's definitely what you would want to do there, because really the proposal, as far as what I kind of think about it, is it's your opportunity to show off your brand and your work and who you are and put testimonials in there. And it's really you pitching yourself to your potential lead to let them know this is why you're investing with me. And so that's 100% the best way to do that there. Let me take a look here and see if we have any other questions before we wrap up. I know it's been posted in the chat, but we do have webinars happening all this week, right in line with our sale. You can get really great discounted prices. If you are not on a Dubsado subscription yet, you definitely should be on our starter plan and our premier plan. Let's see. We'll do one more question here. Angela asks, can you create an evergreen proposal that lets clients reorder? That's a great question. What would you say to that, Joleena?
That is a great question. I would definitely utilize a public proposal for that. So having that just on your website, that once they've concluded one of your projects and now it's months later, they know to go back to your website to submit a new proposal for a new job. So I would definitely utilize a public proposal that you can embed on your website. You can put it in your link in bio on Instagram. You can share it all kinds of ways.
Yes, public proposal is definitely the way to do it. Once you have that on your website, they can always go back and reorder those same things. As long as it's embedded on your website, you are good to go. One other thing that I want to address here, I just saw a quick comment and then we can wrap up, but actually I'll let you answer this one too, Joleena. So Natalie says, I'm a service provider with a ton of different variables and have never been able to use proposals effectively for this reason. I still love Dubsado, but I have to use a second platform, but would love a way to offer more robust products and services. Is there anything that we could do to help Natalie out if there's a lot of customization that needs to happen with the proposal?
Absolutely. I would still say create those base packages. From there, you can create add-on packages. Packages don't need to have more than one line item. So if you have a bunch of things that like there's a base, you offer 3 points, and then you offer 50 other things that they can add on, create them as add-on packages that only have one line item for that specific area and put a price point on it, and then they can add them on easily onto the proposal. If you're working with clients that have custom pricing, you can also immediately put that into their project and edit it per client too. Does not need to be an overarching thing that everyone has the same pricing. You can totally customize that per client.
Yes, that's what I was going to mention as well. With proposals and packages, remember, Natalie, that once it goes into a project, you can make any changes you want to in that project, and it's not going to change your base templates that you have. So if you do a ton of customization, I would say still use proposals. All you have to do is just like what Joleena said, make a nice base package to start with. But then once it's in the project, make the tweaks according to what it is that the client wants and then send it out. So proposals, I would say, and you can probably agree with this, Joleena, proposals, a lot of people think you have to have sort of your bronze, silver, gold packages in order to use them, but you can use them for custom work, anything like that. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap everything up today. Joleena, thank you so much for joining us for our first webinar. I know that this was super valuable for our users. Any last things that you want to say before we wrap up today?
Nothing. Send us chats if you have additional questions. I will probably pick some up later today. So send us gifts too if you do chat us in. We love our gifts.
Yes, we do. All right. Well, thank you everyone for attending the webinar today. Like I said, we have webinars happening all this week, so make sure you're registered for those. I know it's been posted in the chat, the link to register. They're also going to be live on our YouTube channel as well. So if you're not registered and just want to watch them on YouTube, you can. And then one more thing that I did forget to mention in the beginning is that for everyone who is watching through Big Marker who registered, you will receive a recording of this webinar and for all of the other ones that you're registered for. So you don't have to watch them live, even though that would hurt our feelings, but you will receive a recording of them later today, or at least 24 hours after the webinar is over. So thank you all so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll see you on the other webinars. So take care, everybody.
Bye.